Good morning, afternoon or evening, and welcome to this Alpha 23 0AD, the other way around, 0AD Alpha 23 replay commentary analysis. Now you'll see that it's a 2v2 game, but it actually played out very much as two 1v1 games. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you my my game, which is effectively versus what's his name, ZaCRE here, who's playing as the Britons. I was playing as the Kushites because I am soon to be, well, I'm currently in the process of making an overview of the civilization, so I wanted to do a bit of something about it. So let's have a look at the game. And you just notice that I set half my soldiers off to gather wood, these two here, but the other two went to build a house, and that's because it's probably not necessary, but from my perspective I am terrible at getting that first house up in time. So what I wanted to do is make sure while I still had 150 wood, I'd have 200 at that point, having built the farmstead, that I got that house up before it mattered. I then produced 6 women, and I got these 2 cavalry, and they're going to collect the food here really quickly, which will allow me to increase my population size much more quickly than I otherwise would. And what I'm careful to do now is just use one person, as you've seen here. So this one soldier, he's going to take 50 seconds to build that house, but I've still got 10 population capacity spare, so that's pretty decent. And because of that, by the time that house is finished, because it's been built in plenty of time, I'll have maybe able to produce lots more soldiers. So there's 5 more coming now, which will take me up to 30. They're going to take 21 seconds to go, and there's 24 seconds on this, so basically there'll be a very, very tiny overlap, but pretty much it needs to be perfected. But this is my approach with these 10 population boost houses. So as you can see early on, I'm behind in population to ZaCRE. We're going to have a quick look at him in a second, but he is playing as Britain, so obviously he's got the advantage. Oh no, sorry, that was 25. I'm not going to have any overlap. That was a mistake on my part. But now at this early stage, I've got 19 women very early on, want to go and get some soldiers just to give them some kind of ability to defend. Haven't got any upgrades here, which actually is quite strange. I normally would have done by now, but what I'm doing is every time I get to about 150 wood, I'm building an additional house, getting up in plenty of time. So you can see I've got 11 spare capacity there, and these guys are often going to set up another wood line, so gathering there. This one's going way to the back. I've just got these 4 soldiers that will be able to offer some support if anyone were to come over there. But the other thing is these trees here are gradually getting further and further away from the civic centre, and so it makes sense that they can then start to use this this drop site, which is right in the middle of those trees. And here's another house that once this guy's finished, we'll get on to seeing that in. So from ZaCRE's perspective, let's see what he has. He's basically, it's all women at this stage, so I'm now slightly ahead of him in population, but he's not got an awful population by any stretch, but he probably hasn't got as quick a population as he would like. He's spent money on the first axe upgrade, which is very sensible. He got the berry upgrade, and now it looks like, what's he got here, about 20 women that he could start building farms should he choose. But he does have this separate second set of berries, which absolutely makes it worth him getting this first upgrade that he's got with the baskets. And pretty soon I'd expect him, he's going straight to phase 2 actually. That's a mistake in my opinion. He should make sure that he has a barracks so that he can still produce during this time, which he's not chosen to do. And as you can see, he's got his horse. He's got a little dog running around trying to get an idea of where people are. Obviously he knows that his ally is down here, which means that he knows I'm up here somewhere. So while we're talking about that, let's go and have a look up here. So I've moved into farming, actually in advance of all the berries running out, but while most of them are gone, and sending my cavalry off to scout something that could probably have done a little bit earlier. It's quite late in the day to be doing that. This guy's built a house as well, and he should really now be doing something else. I've got plenty of wood, but was a little bit late into farming, it looks like. Although, if I actually show you the thing, a load of muskox, more muskox over here, and down here, oh yeah, there's loads of muskox. So by not doing a decent job of scouting, I wasn't aware of all the muskox that are there. Because had I been, I could have had plenty more food coming in, and wouldn't be in the position of needing to farm quite so early. So that's not really, that's not optimal play. But I'm still very, very happy with my population at this point. 54. With these civilizations where the houses add 10, because they're quite expensive to build a new house, it does frequently end up. I've got a load of people doing nothing. They've got 4 women doing nothing. They should be doing something, but they're not. But as I said, I've find it more difficult to really get your population booming as much as I would like. But I've been pretty good, I have to say, at keeping the civic centre moving, and I'm relatively happy with the fact that I've managed to get quite a few soldiers as well. It's not been all women. And as we start to move out more towards the front of the base, and towards the sea, bearing in mind this is a lake map, it was random, so I wasn't aware that it was a lake, but knowing that it is now, it makes sense to have soldiers out here because this is where a ship would land. And one of my opponents has already actually got himself to phase 2, so it could be building things up. Yeah, from his perspective, it would make great sense to build a dock out here. Could start fishing, which would really help his food supply, and he could also, with being at phase 2, he would have a warship. He could start taking control of that sea. I'm probably a bit late in that and should be doing better, but I do have an 11 population advantage, so I'm relatively happy, particularly as he's got a few slingers and skirmishers. Oh, and that was me killing his dog. He got here and unfortunately managed to find loads of spearmen and archers who would have taken him out very quickly. So got more people coming, so archers and spearmen coming out, looking at things. Because we're still a bit low on food, maybe it would be good to get another couple of cavalry, but let's see how that goes. Also, I'm just now getting the second farming upgrade. Now what I've done here is what I've just said that I'd have liked to have seen. The other guy, if he had an advantage, he could have done it, and I would now be on hiding to nothing with this. But I've seen there's a load of trees by here. The dock works as a drop site, so why not go build one out here? They also don't have to be built in your territory, so they're brilliant in that sense. And the other thing that would be very good about that is, if I want to at some point, I can just get, here's a bit of market right at the back, and it's not a dreadful trade route, but it's one that would be well protected, which is pretty handy. So I've got 5 fields at this stage, which are providing me, well, you look at the imbalance in the resources. I need to get more fields and fewer people chopping wood, because even with me building soldier after soldier, it's still not actually getting enough food in. So whether it's a case of getting the farming going, which is what I'm looking at doing at the moment. I mean, I do have these additional 7 women back here, which if you add to this is a woman that's building houses as well. I could build another couple of farms, just get a couple more women there, and that would give me 9 farms at this stage, and would start to equalise this. This isn't not very good resource management. Look at how many people I've got collecting wood. The answer is 53 compared to only 33 that are farming. So probably should be closer to even than it is. But you can see I'm moving 23 population clear of ZaCRE, although Devil Knight is well clear of my my partner, or teammate rather. What I'm doing now is just get some fishing boats. I haven't got to phase 2, so there's no option of any other boats, but I'll have a look and see if there's any fish to be found, but generally in the lake there is, so hopefully they won't be a complete waste. Anyway, they don't cost a huge amount. 50 wood, when I've got plenty of wood, it's not really a problem. So these going to phase 2 now, but I can carry on producing from here, and I'll come another few. I think my Yeah, my food is really hampering me at this stage. I could be producing people a lot more quickly if it wasn't for that, and yeah, so I'm a bit distressed with myself to see the fact that I've still got these 7 women doing nothing. Although I'm relatively happy with the population, it could probably be increased by a good 5, 10, maybe even 20 if I had got a better mix of farming and farming and wood cutting. But I'm going to start getting some more upgrades now. I get to phase 2. So yeah, the first one actually I'm going for is shaft mining, which is an interesting one, and I'm short. The reason being I'm so short of metal. I'm mining with so I'm mining stone with these guys, the archers, and the spearmen are going on to metal. The reason I want the metal is obviously to be able to get these upgrades, but the reason that I want to get the mining is because I need to build another barracks, and that it requires 150 stone, which I now have, so I could probably worry a little less about that. But also I want to get some towers up, particularly around here. In fact, that may be a tower. It is. So I want to get that tower to defend these guys there. It will help defend the dock. I have got one of these little crappy light warships. They're not going to do a huge amount, but it should really be actually scouting the sea, and I think it probably will in a second. But these guys, he's not fishing. He's not quite fishing either. This is... Or is he fishing? There's no fish there, are there? No, he's just hanging out. So yeah, I should really be fishing, but I've managed to forget about those, and that would also help my food. So another mistake there. I've got here the blacksmith and the market, and I'm going to build another barracks and then get one of the, I forget which one, what's it called? It's the Nuba village rather than the other one, the Blemmy camp. So the Nuba village is the one that gives you the clubmen and the skirmishers. Now I really like the clubmen as troops, I think, because they have a little bit of crush damage as well, so they can knock down houses and things quite quickly. So they're a nice addition to the Malay troops, and I think the only other civilization that has something like that is the Mauryans. So my opponent's bartering now, and that implies that he may well be moving to phase 3 shortly. He's getting himself into a position to do that. He doesn't have a lot of metal, or he's not actually even mining metal, but he's getting some stone so he can build slingers. He's got 1 tower, 2 towers. Is he actually in a position? No, he's 1 building short, so he's just got the 2 towers in the market. So if he were to build a forget what it's called there, armory, blacksmith, yeah, which he now is, he's all good. Then he's set to move to phase 3. So I've now boosted my population. I'm like 30, just over 30 ahead of him. These guys are actually now fishing. I've got 4 of them, and I'm researching the fishing nets to make them fish more efficiently, but I have managed to house myself. That's pretty pretty poor, and I haven't noticed either. So again, this is another point. I mean, the thing, if you want to play at the absolute highest levels, if you're looking at people like Valorant and Borg, they're never housed, and they are constantly producing from everything. So I've got a gap there where I'm not producing from here. The reason being I haven't got any houses. So this sort of 30 seconds or so that I've lost effectively would just not be the case for them. They wouldn't allow that to happen. So I'm ordering this as well, which gives me extra 10%, I think it is, or is it 20%? I can't work out if that, yeah, it's an extra, let's just find out. I think it's 10% to begin with, but it might be 20. No, it's 20%. So getting the additional 20%, so that's going to bump my houses up, because it's an additional 2 population for every single house here. Also got a guy here having built that. These guys are being built, getting some swordmen, realising that I am up against the Britons, I'm going to need swordmen to defend against those rams that are an inevitable part of the Celtic factions. It's their only siege weapon, and although I've got quite a lot of wood, why not utilise the fact that these guys are going to spawn right next to here to get more wood, and I need to move out towards this metal, because metal is absolutely something that I'm going to need a lot of. It does say in the overview, actually, and this is something that we'll make into video, that you should get an additional metal mine in your territory. That's not true. So it looks like if anyone tells you that Kushites get an additional metal mine in their territory as per what is written in the description of the civilization, it's not been implemented, so that's disappointing. So as you can imagine, I'm doing quite a lot of research into the Kushites, so yeah, that's very, very disappointing. Could do with another storehouse here to speed up that production, but as it is, again, not really good. I've got plenty of food and wood, should be producing, although I think, actually, is it a 250 pop game? No, it's 300, so there's no excuse. I thought it was 250 pops, so maybe I was saving space for elephants or something, but no excuses. Okay, I've reached the city phase, but if we look at my opponent, he is 35 people behind. He's also at the city phase. He's got a lot of people mining. He's got how many barracks? Only 2 barracks, but we see our first conflict. My cavalry that were scouting are going to get themselves into all kinds of trouble, and let's look at this from my perspective. And my fortress, which I'm attempting to put up, is going to be attacked. It's quite just look from a neutral thing to see the numbers of troops. He's got more troops than me, but what he doesn't have is anything like the swordsmen. So if the swordsmen are in there, they've got a very good chance of winning that. And I'm just going to throw everywhere. So the Malay troops, I should have an advantage there. My combination of clubmen and swordsmen are much, much better than his. But what I need is my ranged troops to be attacking these guys, and they're not at the moment. They're attacking within here, but you can see comfortably winning that. And if we have a quick look at the upgrades, we can see that I'm getting the first Malay infantry upgrade, and he's having to back off now. He's only got these 18 of these people left. I'm well in advance of him. He's only got a small amount of troops building this fortress, so it's still over a minute away, and I will need to get in there. And we can see how quickly his Malay troops were killed off, and what I need to do is stop this fortress going up while at the same time getting my own fortress up. So I am hopefully producing archers from here, nothing from here, nothing from here. Again, that's just not good enough, but these clubmen would have done an excellent job of taking down the fortress. These guys are just chasing off the last few slingers. There's 5 of them have run away, but I should have the advantage, and absolutely do have the advantage here. And he's going to pull back, and he has done, and he's just going to put his fortress up a little bit further away from the front line. And because the Kushites rely on their I forget what they're called, rely on their temple to get their champion units. I'm building a temple close to the front line as well. I mean, that serves 2 purposes. The first and most obvious one, I suppose, is actually just to heal my troops, but the other thing is to give me access to these temple guards. They're counted versus champions and heroes is good, and they have armour-piercing axes, which again is related to the other thing. And we've got a tower going up here, got another tower going up here, and we're going to start taking this metal, because if we look over here, you can see all of the miners, it's all gone. There's nothing. So that said, I think if I look for my spell, I do have some wrong one. I always click the wrong one then. No, I haven't got any trade going on, but I'm aiming to shortly. So I backed off a little bit from there. He's now built his fortress. He's got plenty of slingers going to support, and an additional couple of barracks, and it's absolutely a well-worn strategy with the Britons. Is a combination of slingers and rams. We're going to get this Grand Temple, which offers a different type of champion unit. I think they're just swordsmen, but still very, very useful, particularly, strong melee infantry, particularly swordsmen, are really, really good against the Britons because they're useful with the ram, taking out the rams, and they're also useful with having the additional strength to march in on your enemies that they're like slingers, and be able to take some of them out. Interestingly, over here, that's what they've got. I just put so for these guys, I just went to put a drop site, and they've not noticed that these two slingers, these guys are just carrying on even though they're being shot at, rather than because they're not being shot at anymore. So he's trying to take out the slingers, so I haven't noticed because we're trying to push on to the front. Getting my upgrades from here, got my healers from here, but these guys are having to run all the way back to here. He's killed this one, and actually I'll show you this close up because it's really cool. Look how happy he is there. He's just been promoted, and it's quite the battle. Who's going to be the winner? Let's have a look. He's got barely any health, and they both die. So kind of a bit like Rocky there, where him and Apollo Creed hit one another. So I'm not too concerned about these three rams. I've got back here plenty of clubmen and swordsmen, and I also have elephants, and the elephants will, if they can just actually, the Pathfinder will find the rams. They've got confused and walked into the temple, so he is trying to send his rounds. He's trying to pull them back now because they're all going to be destroyed, and that act of aggression has prompted a big reaction. So I'm supplementing. Look, from my perspective, I want 255 population. I'm going to get 3 more elephants and start pushing into his base. Unfortunately, I have some clubmen here who could be actually hitting that, but they're waving at it, and pull them away and just send in the elephants. In terms of population, I'm now 80 population clear. I just deposit a load of that. The wood that they've collected, completely mined the metal, so need to get additional metal from somewhere if I'm going to carry on. And you've got some archers here that are just getting in the way, stopping the elephants from doing stuff, and I need to get my other troops to be much more supportive. Got some archers, swordsmen, so a combination of melee troops and range. And I'll just go and quickly look at what we have in terms of upgrades. Got the first armour upgrade, first range infantry upgrade, and first melee infantry upgrade. So these guys are looking pretty good, and the good thing is as well that they're all getting involved in quite a lot of fighting, so they're getting upgraded as they go as well. So he's very much on the defensive. He's trying to bring people in to knock out the elephants. This guy is going to, this barracks is going to go. I don't think they're going to be able to stop that. We've got more elephants on the way. Don't have any metal though, so I'm going to start trading, and may well already have started trading. These guys, some of them have been upgraded, and you can see it's a really large force now that's pushing in. It's 6 elephants. I've got this champion who is going to give a 20% attack and capture for all of the champion units, and I think I've started to produce some champion units. Actually, that's not true. I haven't started yet. They're on their way. So the main thing is to knock out this temple. I don't want him producing any more rams. Once his rams are gone, it's all or wants the potential to produce rams, he's going to be in a very, very difficult position. So I've only got 3 elephants left, but this is on its last legs. One of the other elephants is going towards the civic centre, and in terms of range support, yeah, these 70 odd, so 69 archers are offering really, really great support, while my Malay troops are also doing a really brilliant job. I'm going to try and move these guys in to help defend this elephant, because it's been surrounded, admittedly mostly by women, but also by some soldiers, and I need to stop them from knocking that down. But got this elephant here, which I could pull across. He's just knocking down this tower, which gives us more support. Knocking down this is of little use, to be honest, but these guys are in big trouble. I'm going to need to do some bartering, which you'll see. Yeah, I've just gone and picked up a load of metal. Turns out metal was very, very cheap, so I've got about 1,000 metal there for nothing, for just a load of wood, of which I have lots. And are we trying to take over this tower, or are we trying to knock it down? No, we're taking over some things, but given up on that to try and protect the elephant, but the elephant's dead. And I've noticed here he's trading, or he's not trading, but red is trading. So when you see that someone's relying on trade, take out their traders. They're really expensive to replace, and if they're not replaced, your enemy can find his resources being completely overrun. So he just runs out of resources, basically. He can't replenish them. So I'm now at kind of maximum population. I think I've got some elephants on the way. I've got 2 more, and I've started producing some cavalry. Now the cavalry is in response to actually seeing the traders, because they will take out the traders very, very easily. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm taking over each of these barracks, and while I do it, I'm not destroying it. I am actually taking it and garrisoning it, with the idea being that I stop him from producing any more soldiers. And you'll notice that despite the fact he has plenty of resources and he should be producing troops, he's just stopped. And this is something that's very easy to do when you're not one of the top players. One of the big things that will improve your game is make sure you're always reinforcing. So because he hasn't been, his population's down at 68 now. If he'd been continuing to repopulate in the way that I have, I've been constantly up at around 300. I've not got any soldiers here, but I think in reality the reason that I'm not so worried about that is because he's clearly virtually dead. Just going to send some more troops to kill these women. He's got a few soldiers left. He's down to 49, 48. It's pretty brutal. Down goes the civic centre, and with that, his last chance to reinforce his army. He's on 37, and is he going to? I don't know where his troops are actually. Where are these 37 people? Okay, he's got 2 that are in there, but he's resigned. And as always with these sort of things, don't destroy the buildings. Build your own civic centre. So that's as much as I'm going to show you, because that's effectively what was the 1v1. However, what I will do is a Tom 0AD live, and that will be of the full game, and you'll get to see that at some point in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then give a like and all those sorts of nice things, and subscribe, and whatever. And other than that, Adesh, and I'll see you soon.